Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hobby Night. I am your Chaos Cultist, and now time for something a little different. Hi folks, and welcome to This Week in Warhammer News. You will have to forgive me, Angela is a bit busy dealing with the video for tomorrow, so do be sure to tune in for that. This is our first news video in about a month, so I'm going to have to hop around a few things, but most recently, Games Workshop announced a new FAQ for that game. Yes, Warhammer 40k 9th edition, yes. They clarified quite a few things, actually. One of the biggest things that they dealt with was that sickeningly healthy apothecary of the Adeptus Astartes. His magics no longer work on that Mario Kart of theirs. An Invader ATV, whatever you call it. It's a Mario Kart from Double Dash. Let's be honest with ourselves, folks. But the apothecary can't work his necromancy on it any longer. No. In addition to that, they also clarified something about first turn. Now, when you roll to see who goes first, there is no winner of the roll-off decides. Instead, the winner of the roll-off just goes first. This will help speed up games, just partially because of choice paralysis, but I think when you get in competitive games, you end up with the person who wins ends up breaking out the tape measure, and they want to measure all the charges and everything before they make a decision. It's done. You're just going now. Seems like Games Workshop's still trying to streamline things, which makes sense after all. Now, in addition to these two things, they also updated 3 secondary objectives that were kind of being exploited. The first one was Bring It Down, where each tier of victory points was brought down by 1. Bring It Down is the secondary tied to killing tanks and monsters. They're worth a little less points now. Similarly, Psychers are no longer worth as many victory points, both the character variety as well as the normal variety. Particularly for Grey Knights and those wonderful lads over there in the Thousand Suns. They will appreciate this change the most, so thank you for that. And finally, I forget the exact name of it, and as I lack hands, I can't look it up at this exact moment. But there is a third objective, I believe it's last one standing or something like that. The previous rule was you pick your 3 most expensive models, and if they were alive at the end of the game, they were each worth, I believe, 3 victory points. That has now been changed to be most expensive units, not models. So no longer can you hide that 300-point character in the back of the field and just get those points or something like that. So look forward to that. Now finally, they released a new set of points for every army in the game. Tau, Imperial, Xeno, Chaos, all of them. Actually kind of nice of them, I hope they keep doing that. And looking at it, there was nothing majorly changing. A couple things got a slight points increase. The Nightbringer of the Necrons, I almost called them the Necroteers, it's been a while. He went up by about 20 points. There were some slight modifications to the Adeptus Astartes. But most interestingly was the Death God. Because if you recall, the Death God Codex was originally supposed to release last month. So I think this points cost was written with that in mind, because if you look at it, oh, there are some new things in there, my friend. And speaking of Angela's favorite festering boys, the Death God, we are starting to see signs of life from Games Workshop again about them. Just this week, they previewed one of the new Plague companies. I say new Plague companies. I believe it is derivative of one of the Plague companies from the War with the Spider, the Poxbringers, I believe. The one tied to the Poxwalkers. They have a stratagem that allows them to reroll hits in melee with their Poxwalkers, which, going back to the points thing from before, have gone down from 7 to 5 points. This is interesting, considering they've lost Disgustingly Resilient because the new rule doesn't affect one-wound models. I still think it's interesting from a strategy perspective, especially casual to mid-competitive, which is more what we do, because then you're talking about 20 wounds for 100 points. That's a hell of a screen. That's a lot of bubble wrap for only 100 points. I'm not saying you maybe want to run 60 or massive number of the Poxwalkers, but I can still see them being useful. In addition to this, I just want to call out that when Games Workshop starts previewing rules, they don't tend to do that very far in advance. If you think about miniatures, yeah, they tease miniatures a year or two in advance sometimes, but normally if they start actually showing us rules, that means that they intend to release something in the next month or so. And considering they did say that pre-orders, were going to launch on January 16th, I'm optimistic that next week we'll be able to pre-order the Death God Codex, and if not that week, probably, the week after that. The one other thing that I just wanted to cover that is very interesting based on what we know. We know that Death God Plague Marines are going to 2 wounds. We know that the new Discussing Resilient rule is it's okay, depends on the weapon. And we know that they're getting an extra attack. Now previously, Plague Marines at 1 wound, 1 attack, normal Discussing Resilient were 18 points. Now they will be 21. 1 more point than an Intercessor. I don't know about you folks, but for survivability, I would take that over the killiness of the Intercessors, but, well, time will tell if I am right on that.
Angela! What is all this?
I might have a problem. I have too many minis to paint, and not enough subscribers to encourage me to do it, so don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the videos.
Those were not the only things Games Workshop came out with this week, however. They also acknowledged that this game still exists. I know, it's amazing, right? They actually still remember that Killteam is a thing. Who knew? They released the new updated rules for the troops that came in the Indomitus box, in particularly the new Necron Warrior and the Assault Intercessor. I don't really play Killteam that much. I maybe played like 5 games ever of it, but my god, Assault Intercessors seem terrifying in Killteam. Let me know down in the comments if I'm right about that. But this is a good thing. If you remember way back in October, Games Workshop actually released a trailer for the next expansion for Killteam. Seems like it was probably another big box like this one, right? And it looked like it was going to be fitting with 9th edition Astartes and Necrons. Now, we all have plenty of Astartes and Necrons at this point, so why is that exciting? Because in the video they previewed Flayed ones, and we know new Flayed ones are coming. So, new Flayed one miniatures soon, I'm hoping this quarter, but I'm not really going to hold my breath about it. What do you think? Finally, folks, Games Workshop released a preview of the next Warband, that's what they're called, for Direchasm. Yes, the Starborn, or the Starblood, or the Star something. I'm going to take their blood and I will offer it I will give it as an offering to the stars, so it does not matter. They are lizard people. Weird, right? I think they're part of the old ones. I don't know. I heard of Necron talking about them once. But yes, if you have seen that adorable little gecko with the blow dart that they previewed back in October or November, he is from that set. There's also a wide range of sizes of miniatures in this set. There's skinks, the gecko. There's actually a big old Saurus lizard in there. And considering the way that scales tend to work with contrast paint, I'm fairly confident you can look forward to 1 or 2 painting videos from Angela centered around that box in the future. And that brings us to the end of this week's news, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, Angela will return. Yes, she will, if she knows what's best for her. Yes. But tune in tomorrow, where she is going to have a brand new video for you all, and it's entirely focused around her favorite thing in the world. Yes, that's right. Contrast paint.